You're listening to The Credit Pros on Real Estate Radio New Jersey with local credit experts Damon DiCrescenzo and attorney Jason Kaplan. Now, here's Jason and Damon.
Welcome back, New Jersey. This is The Credit Pros on Real Estate Radio Network. Once again, I'm host Jason Kaplan with my co-host Damon DiCrescenzo. And we have a caller who's calling in this segment. Damon, why don't you introduce him?
Well, first off, we're fortunate enough to have Ted Federos from JoinNetworkPlus.com on the phone. And I'm going to go through what Network Plus is in a second. But for those of you who are listening, please give us a call. We're taking some phone calls in the last segment of the show. The Credit Pros on Real Estate Radio, we're ready to talk to you about your credit, your finances, or any other issues you may have. Please give us a call at 1-800-411-3050 or on our local 9 at 973-771-5118. We're also available on the web at creditrepair.to. So as I was beginning to say, networking, we talk about often, is an important part of any business person's life. It should be anyway, and if not, people need to second guess their process. Network Plus is an organization that Jason and I, we've just joined, and we found really very valuable. And we asked the owner and founder to come and join us to spread some of the things that he's learned about networking. And we have Ted on the line. Ted, I want to thank you very much for joining us today.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Ted, let me just speak a second about Network Plus as an organization. And I did a little bit of homework into Network Plus before joining, is because we belong to a few different networking groups, and not all of them suit our needs the way that Network Plus does. So the organization itself, correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, but started in 2004, and it's in its seventh year. How many members do we have right now?
4,163, but who's counting?
I think that's incredible. And I remember from when we spoke last, it's in 7 states and 5 countries. Is it 5 countries right now?
Yep, we're in 5 countries, but with the plan that we have, the marketing strategy, which will be networking, obviously, we plan to be in 60 countries by the end of next year and in all 50 states this year, because we're not just opening up new locations, we're actually teaching people netiquette, which is what we call the etiquette of networking.
That is so needed because, and you and I talked about this, the folk that I work with in my office, sometimes if you don't take that first step into networking, it could be an imposing an idea or concept, and there is a certain process or protocol that people need to go through, a way to be able to act. Let's talk about networking specifically and the concept of it. And I know that networking, it takes a minute to get over the fact that it's not an event. It's not this event today or this event tomorrow, but it's a certain way of life. Can you speak to that?
Sure. In my world, networking is not an event. People are always talking about, I'm going to a networking event. Well, life is a networking event. We're constantly being interviewed. The Society of Human Resource Managers says that even if you spend $250,000 on an education or more, you get a double, triple PhD and a double master's degree. You got 35 seconds to say who you are, where you've been, and what you can do for the other person. So that being said, we're constantly on an interview, 24/7, nonstop. Right. And networking should never be an event. It should be a lifestyle. For instance, mortgage company asked me to come in a particular state with 75 mortgage reps to talk to them about leadership, teamwork, sales, customer service, and networking. I asked them, how many other people have businesses in your building? There were 49 other businesses, including CPAs, financial planners, on and on and on. I said, what floor is the coffee shop on? They said the 3rd floor. I said, okay, great. How many people do you know? You spend $15,000 on the Yellow Pages. You spend all of this money joining every chamber on the planet. How many people in this building have you bought a cup of coffee for? I said, what do you mean? I said, I once bought a cup of coffee for $1.79 that parlayed into a $100,000 contract. So my point was, the people that we're looking for to network with are sometimes in the elevator that we're in each and every day at our apartment building, at our home, and all too often we're looking, for a networking event. Life is one huge, mega opportunity to network.
how is it that, for me, I find networking as a natural complement to my personality, and I like to think I'm an A-type personality, but what advice can you give to somebody that's not an A-type personality, rather than maybe somebody that's a little bit more reserved, a little bit more introspective, and has a little bit more a difficult time introducing themselves and taking that first foot forward?
All right. I'm glad you asked that question, because in school, I would have been voted the least likely to succeed, maybe the wallflower, maybe the kid that would not get out there. First of all, we need to take the doctor's diagnosis that we're X type of personality and burn it. I think we become what we believe. I think we're all boundless. I think we're all outrageous. And I think all too often we buy into some type of pigeonhole that people give us at an early age.
Right.
So my suggestion is for anyone that may have that thinking that, you know, they're not that type of person to do that, is do 12 things. This sounds a little bit like a Karate Kid movie, where it's not what happens in the dojo during the fight. It's really about what you do during practice. Wax on, wax off. What does that mean? Before you go to a networking event, a specific formal networking event, I think every single day of our life we need to do 12 things that make us uncomfortable but help us grow. Do the things that we're uncomfortable to help us grow personally. It's all about professional growth comes from personal growth, because people don't buy from business cards. They buy from business people. So 99.9% of the attention needs to go toward the individual on their own personal growth. So number one, do 12 things every single day of your life that make you uncomfortable but help you grow. Second of three things is, you know, I view life as a bus. I believe God gave us a bus that we have to drive, but all too often we've got the wrong people on the bus, meaning we have to take stock in our relationships. Are the relationships that we're in helping us grow and expand, or are we around a bunch of people that want to keep us down and validate the illusion that the sky is falling in and that everything is, you know, shrinking and there's not enough? Hang around the right people, people that have what I call the abundance mentality. And then third point, which is very, very important, and that's when I started doing volunteer work in nursing homes, people thought, why? Why would you do that? It helps me remember that every day is precious, that each and every person has value. And so I guess what I'm saying is what I've done in a formal networking event really was a byproduct of what I did before that. So, you know, doing the 12 things every single day of our life that cause us to be uncomfortable but help us grow, deciding what relationships we want to be in and who we want to have in our life is important. But doing some form of volunteer work, you know, whether it's Habitat for Humanity, that's a great example. I didn't head down to Trenton on Olden Street to work at Habitat for Humanity for any other reason that I want to serve humanity and hang around with my older son, Jared. My point is, I'm in the trench, digging out a tanker, helping build a home, and who am I in the trench with? An executive director for one of the engineering firms that I was looking to get my foot in the door and do some public speaking on teamwork, leadership, sales, customer service. So, you know, life is one mega, huge opportunity to network. And it's not an event, it's a lifestyle. Does that make sense?
Sure it does. And I think that it affords an interesting opportunity too. And I know that you touched on this briefly. You know, the idea of sales is sort of almost not consistent with the idea of networking, because sales is, you know, let me try to close a deal, let me try to make some money, let me get this deal done. On the other side of it, networking, as it should be, is what can I do for this other person? How much information can I contribute to this group? How can I serve this organization in my community? And hopefully from that, give, it will bear fruit. So there's almost a dichotomy there of the old school idea of straight selling versus the new school idea of also business growth and personal growth through giving.
Wow, you nailed it. In fact, to dovetail off of what you just shared, old school is the elevator pitch. I don't think there's anything that unnerves me more and really gets under my skin than hearing someone's elevator pitch. Hard to believe, but there are actually networking events that take place at a diner at 7:13 in the morning where repetitiously we hear the same thing over and over again, someone's elevator pitch. I don't want to hear what you do. I want to know who you are. Stop hiding behind your name tag, your badge, and your business card, and get down to it and tell me, who are you as a person? Those are the people that I want to do business with. So it really is about building relationships and rapport. And once again, I think all too often people hide behind their elevator pitch. They even go to school and actually learn about how to fine-tune it. There's enough commercials being done on television without having to go to a networking event and hear the same story over and over again.
Right.
Tell me what your passion is. Tell me the why behind what you do, and I'll refer you.
That makes good sense. If you're just joining us, you're listening to the Credit Pros on Real Estate Radio, and our wonderful guest, Ted Federos from Network Plus, the founder and the creator of a primarily New Jersey-focused networking event and networking group, but now spread through 4,000 members, 7 states and 5 countries. JoinNetworkPlus.com. Guys, you'll want to write that down. JoinNetworkPlus.com. Again, we're accepting phone calls for our third segment. Please give us a call at 1-800-411-3050 or 973-771-5118 or on the web at creditrepair.to. Why don't you speak a little bit about the structure of a Network Plus event? I know that from personal experience, there's a number of networking groups where they'll only allow one person from each type of industry into this group, and I understand why they do it, but what are your thoughts on doing something like that?
Okay. If you thought I was passionate about some of the other issues that you brought up, this is my number one passion. Personally, I believe that when someone joins a networking organization that offers exclusivity in a particular business category, they're drinking the Kool-Aid. You see, that really enables the owner of that networking organization to make a ton of money, write a lot of books, and keep people prisoner. You want to collaborate and learn. Wanting to be the only person in a business category is pure scarcity mentality, and it thrives on weakness. The people that are strong and confident want to collaborate with people in their industry. So the number one reason we choose not to offer any exclusivity in a particular business category is it's like someone who is, 5 or 6 years old at the playground, in the playground box, the sandbox, saying, me, me, me. It's about my toys, my toys. We want to go from me, me, me to we, because collaboration is the new wave. It's not about competition any longer. It's that those who collaborate will thrive. Those who compete will die.
I couldn't agree with you more. Again, you're listening to Ted Federos from Network Plus. JoinNetworkPlus.com. I think that it's an interesting idea. Jason and I are of the mentality that there is no such thing as competition. We enjoy going to events where there are exclusively people from our industry because we look at those people as collaborators, people that we can share information with and all grow. The competition is, Coke versus Pepsi when there are two options. It's difficult to find any sort of industry, whether it be in this state or any other, where there are only two options. So people need to sort of change their idea and their outlook about that. One of the other things I wanted to discuss with you is how frequently do we have events? And let's talk specifically about Network Plus. I know that it's everywhere at this point in New Jersey, and I know that you and I talked about spreading to Staten Island, but is it safe to say that if you want to go attend one, you pretty much can, right?
Yes. Here's what makes us unique. We just ran an event today, grand opening in Jackson, New Jersey.
That was Rocco,
Great Adventure. We had over 40 people show up.
That's great.
And running these events, by the way, is a revenue stream. Look at the comparison. You can either join every chamber of commerce you can imagine, and they're good, they're great, they're wonderful. But at the end of the year, you join a dozen, you're talking about somewhere between $1,000 and $3,000 for the whole package. Then you've got plan B and C, going to a local diner, spending $1,500 a year, or Network Plus allows you to go to all the locations. There's 37 locations, opening up 211 more in New Jersey, Connecticut, New York. Right now, we're in 7 states, 5 countries. We'll be in all 50 states by the end of the year. However, 90% of our 4,000-plus members are within 150-mile radius of Newark, New Jersey. So we have a strong base there. And what's very unique is we run over 1,000 events every single year.
That is awesome. That's an awesome number.
You go to all of those events, and there's no obligation to show up right on time. In fact, somebody had their cell phone on today, and I chuckled because the other networking organizations literally fine you $5 if you leave your cell phone on. And I said, everyone, leave your cell phone on. This is not about me, me, me. This is about us. And you have family, you have friends, you have clients. Leave your cell phone on. One other point that I did want to make clear, many times people go to a networking event and they're thinking that if they only can get an opportunity to speak, then that would be the ultimate opportunity. My core competency is actually public speaking. I hold the unofficial world's record, did 7,000 paid events, and I donate 20% of my time in prisons and homeless shelters. My point is, I think people should really take stock of their ability to do public speaking before they go to a networking event and get great, not good, great at it, because the idea of going to a formal networking event is to build a strategic business alliance. Then, through that strategic business alliance, look for speaking opportunities, because the greatest high in business is being paid to speak on a topic and have people stand online and say, by the way, what can I buy from you?
Right.
So you want to graduate. You want to continue networking, but you want to graduate to the next level, and that's an SBA, Strategic Business Alliance, and then ultimately you want to be at that 1% of that pyramid where you're generating income, you're generating opportunities because you've honed your skills as a public speaker.
I think that is the best information that I've heard all day. If you're just joining us, that's Ted Fataros from Network Plus, the creator and founder of the organization. JoinNetworkPlus.com is the URL that you should be going to. It has more information on the organization and actually on Ted as well. And I'll tell you what, and I'll extend this personally, if anyone out there, if you're listening and you want to join Jason and myself to a Network Plus event, I would love that, because I've really found true value there, and I want to be able to spread that value to our listeners. So if you're interested, please pick up the phone and give us a ring, 973-771-5118. I will require, though, that you buy me a cup of coffee because my coffee machine is broken. Ted, I want to thank you very much for joining us today, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again this week at one of these wonderful events.
Great. Can I mention one thing? Do we have 30 seconds?
Please.
Great. If there is anyone that's on the line that hears this message and does join the organization as a member, I plan to donate $25 from that application fee to either Habitat for Humanity domestically or any specific cause going toward Japan.
Thanks, Ted. I really appreciate that wonderful info. You're listening to the Credit Pros on Real Estate Radio Network. You should definitely stick around after the break. We have the last 3 of the spring cleaning for your finances. You're not going to believe some of this wonderful information. Also, what they don't want you to know, it's going to blow you out of the water this week. Stick around after the break. Give us a call. We'll take your calls, 1-800-411-3050 or locally 973-771-5118 or on the web at creditrepair.to. Stick around.
For all your credit problems, concerns, or questions, call the show's off-air number at 973-771-5118 and speak to the hosts of the show, Damon DiCrescenzo and attorney Jason Kaplan, directly. 973-771-5118. This program is brought to you by the Real Estate Radio Network. Visit realestateradio.us for more info. That's realestateradio.us. The Credit Pros on Real Estate Radio New Jersey is hosted by local credit and finance experts Damon DiCrescenzo and attorney Jason Kaplan. The purpose of the show is to help consumers understand what's really going on with their credit. They're teaching you the why and the how-to, so you'll always be one step ahead of everyone else. If you are having problems qualifying for a purchase or you're tired of high interest rates because of bad credit, Jason Kaplan can help. Call Jason directly at 973-771-5118 5118. That's 973-771-5118. Take advantage of speaking with Jason anytime you're having a credit problem. Having someone who can answer all of your questions that truly cares about you and your family's best interest is priceless. Call Jason Kaplan and the Credit Pros today, and you'll be glad you did. 973-771-5118. That's 973-771-5118, or you can visit creditrepair.to for more info. For all your credit problems, concerns, or questions, call the show's off-air number at 973-771-5118 and speak to the hosts of the show, Damon DiCrescenzo and attorney Jason Kaplan, directly. 973-771-5118.